I know what that means. That I'm live. Had a chance to go live prime time, right? Had a chance to go live prime time. It's 5 o'clock or so like that, I guess. Eastern time. Actually, it's 4:49. 4:49 Eastern time. And here I am, Volo Dant, Modulus Tautology, aka Chucky. Well, you know, I used to be Chucky Dangerous back in 80, let's say 84. But then this dude, with his group named Public Enemy, and their main MC, Carl Reinhold, I want to say, decided to call himself Chucky Dangerous too, TOO. And yeah, he became legendary. On the other hand, I had to, you know, revert back to, you know, playing old games. So that's why I'm using a Dungeons and Dragons moniker as opposed to a 1980s rap. Because, I mean, back then, right? Let me hit it. Yeah, back then, we used to just say our nickname with a letter after it. Like I was Chucky D or whatever. My man next door, Byron, used to be Byron B. Rest in peace. His brother, Shorty Love, rest in peace. Ron, aka Ron. And dang, what was Kasim? Really ain't never. Kasim lived across the street. Rest in peace. Yeah, he KC, right? Kasi or something like that. You know what I mean? The old crew down. What was Eric last name? I guess he went by Eric CEC. Eric C. Rest in peace. You know, and we were the crew. Like, you know what I mean? In fact, we used to have the MAB hats, and that way we was the Mount Airy Breakers or whatever, something like that. You know, we tried our best. You know, we would scour the neighborhood for like old refrigerator boxes. And you know what I mean, now that became the, you know, the break board or whatever. We try to graffiti it up and you know, and mimic what was going on after watching Beat Street, you know what I'm saying? So thanks again to I think Harry Belafonte executive produced that movie. Right? That's what I don't get, where all of these quote unquote tethers is claiming the victimization of foundational Black Americans. Like, you know what I mean? Like we hate Harry Belafonte. Like, nah, that ain't. We thank him for, you know, putting his money up to promote hip hop to be what it is today. You know what I'm saying? The term African American came from not just from Jesse Jackson, right? Jesse Jackson was just a voice at the forefront, running for president in 1984 and 1988, and he made a AFR ICA track with Stetsasonic, and that's why Daddy O says it ain't where you at, it's where you from. And nah, it ain't where you at from, it's where you at, yo. And I love Daddy O. I'm just keeping it 100, like, right? I just feel, nah, Rakim, when he said, it ain't where you're from, it's where you at. Even the ghetto, like that's more, that's, yo, like, you know what I'm saying? So, right, that gives you the ability to be born in New York, right? Like my man Kasim, he was born in New York, but he spent most of his summers and a lot of his life here in Philadelphia with us. So, he would at first he would just come visit during the summers. His grandma, I never met his mom and pop. I might have. I don't know. You know what I mean? I know he titled himself a Black Rican or something like that. Because he was, I don't know if I guess his mom must have been Puerto Rican, and his dad might have been African American or black, or Black American. But we do spawn from the quote unquote one drop rule. Like if one of your ancestors is foundational Black American, then dude, yeah, you're American, you're foundational Black American, yo. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we not hating other ethnicities from around the world, from their land, language, and laws. We just saying that this is our land, language, and law. You know what I mean? And that's what makes us foundational Black Americans most importantly, right? At the LY to the end of that, right? You know what I mean? Because we all about the prefixes and suffixes and adding them to the base key root words to tell the truth, to spread love, and most importantly, be brave, yo. All that discouraging, or, you know what I mean? Like that shit, that malinformation, right? Miss opportunities, right? Because y'all want to live in inferiority with the complex. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where the true or the truth comes to light. You know what I'm saying? It needs the darkness in order to have a canvas, yo. That's the real epistemology right there. The ever powerful intelligence, STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, of theology, the suffix of the study of, right? So we like to look at the mind, we like to look at the body, and most, very important is the soul as one. You know what I mean? Right? So y'all know me, I just jump on and shoot them darts. Dart. That knowledge. Understanding. That wisdom. Yo, this beat is kind of dope. Let me see what Lucy got on here. Let me see here. Right, live. I never used this one. This is the first time this is another one of the demos. And I just wanted to share, until I can really get my sounds in this machine, and then I'm gonna really play with it. I can actually see the color codes better. Let me see, let me hit this here, right? So that does that, right? Okay, that does that. And then I hold this down and this down. Okay. So let me see. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Let me see. Let me do this here. Hit that right there. See what that does. That should flip it up right here. This should flip it up. Okay. Knowledge will begin until I finish this song, because the rhyme gets rougher as the rhyme goes on. The sweat is your step about to get hyped. Or should you just listen to the man on the mic? You physically here with me, but how could you tell if it's meant to be hip hop and you're not mentally as well? And yeah, man, to recoup or recap, I'm still rapping about, and I forgot his name already. I'm not gonna forget Lauryn Hill's name. But I'm gonna put it at the forefront, just like Kumo D did when he made his top 100 list or whatever. He made a top 100 list, and he put Lauryn Hill #1 as the greatest MC of all time. You know what I mean? But we give respect to her as a femc, right? Because we recognize the goddess, right? And the god as being unique. You see what I'm saying? Like, we don't convolute the ignorance of that community. And I had to put quote unquote community. I'm talking about the one that, and I'm gonna point him out. I don't care. I'm done acting like we don't know who the players are or who the sinners are. when it comes to false pride. Right now, I'm talking about Cook, Tom Cook. I think his name is. I think his name's Tom Cook or something like that, or something like that. I gotta look it up again. I'm talking about the CEO of Apple Computers. Cook is his name, I think. Or whatever. You know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what his name is. But he is the CEO of Apple Computers, and Apple is number one to me. I do want an iPad. I'm saving up my pennies to buy a new iPad at the end of the year. And I love their products. I love the way they link together. I love the, you know what I mean? Like, I'm doing all this on my iPhone 14. And, you know, like I repeated, like, Volo is going through torn retinas right now. So I had to regrow the retina in my left eye. So I can't see too well at all, really. And that's not why I'm saying hit the like button, subscribe, share, et cetera, et cetera. I'm saying that do that just because I'm going to share this content with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Become a subscriber. The first 100 subscribers on VOLOTAM. No, that's VOLOTELEVISION. Volo Television on YouTube. The first 100 subscribers, you automatically get put into the first drawing, giveaway, whatever. What are we giving away? We're still trying to figure all that out. You know what I mean? We gotta get the numbers up. You know, we gotta get the economy up, and then it might be a big screen TV. You know, it might be a Switch 2. You know what I'm saying? Or one of these MPC studios. Right? We still figuring that out, but let me get to 100 first, and you'll be a part of that. You'll be the first on the giveaway, and we're gonna increase your odds of winning. Like that. Like, this is how you got to do it in order to get people to subscribe to your station, right? So, but yeah, what is I talking about? Oh, Lauryn Hill's the goddess. That's the goddess. We're gonna put her number one, because what's my man named Kumo D said so. And Kumo D had himself second. I ain't gonna hate on it, but we know that's not the truth. We're gonna put Rakim 2, only because we got paid in full as the number one greatest record of all time, right? And the only reason why I put that as the greatest record of all time, because 1984, we're basing that upon the information given to us way back in the 1950s, when this writer wrote a book called 1984 and Animal Farm, and it made him legendary writer. I don't know, it doesn't matter what his name is. Y'all can look that up. And those two books was talking about the politics of life, and why socialism and communism are evil, and why capitalism is very hypocritical, because if you don't like the people with the superiority complex, you tend to create an inferiority complex in yourself, and that's the worst kind of knowledge of self that you can have, is an inferiority complex of yourself, yo. That's whack, yo. That's just me keeping it 100. So we don't practice that over here. What we do is we practice the 8 virtues, and hence today's title was "You Need More Than 8 Virtues to be beautiful people." I don't know. I just threw a title out there. Whatever the title is, the title is. But when I first played Ultima 4 back in the day, it was one of my favorite. It is, and I put it as the greatest game of all time. It gave you 8 virtues to meditate on, to practice. And y'all know the truth. Practice is the mother of skill, and repetition is the father of time. That being the case, I've been practicing these 8 virtues ever since. Now, what is the proper order is what my newest analysis of these, and to steal a word from, what's his name? I don't know. I forgot his name right now, but it's honor. But he used the term sacred honor. What is his name? Oh, Royce White. Yeah, shout out to Royce White. He's a MAGA ex-basketball player, and he's running for a Senate or a congressman or something. And I do respect him doing that under these terms. He's a foundational Black American, but he embraces all of his different nationalities. So he'll let you know, hey, if you want to call me a mutt, I'm a mutt, kind of a thing. But he is for Black people. He is for the advancement of Black people, which would have been the NAACP initially. But we all know the story with that when it comes to W.B. Du Bois. Well, we don't. But we're going to talk more and more about that, him and Booker T. Washington, et cetera, as we keep going these new podcasts. I'm still at the very, very beginning talking about Isabella Humphrey and how she was one of the originals, born in 1797 or so, and she lived until 1880 or so. So when it comes to defining the fundamental definition of what a foundational Black American it is, her picture is there, yo. She changed her name to Sojourner Truth, and we as hip hoppers have been doing it ever since. Yeah, so even though you might be born with the name George Washington as a Black American, as George Washington, what was his name? Not George Washington Carver. I can't remember his name, but it was another George Washington that wrote a book called 1916, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm gonna be more thorough in all that information. I just don't want to be the historian that this is the information of history and this and that, and it's real boring. I try to make history exciting, and especially when it comes to hip hop history, because I am hip hop history. I was born in '71, so 2 years before that infamous party that they said happened in the Bronx, and where Paris One first personified hip hop as a being, and hence a culture that came from the community, formed by the greats like H-Rap Brown, called Foundational Black American Community, right? And the history goes on, right? Because we are the history for the future generations. That's part of the reason why I'm laying this on the net, so that the future, our children's generation might have some information to go back to see what really happened in 2026. You know what I mean? We were still in the mix. You know what I mean? Hip hop was still in the mix, yo. That's what's important. So I rambled long enough. I think you might have got it. That's all I wanted to do. Come on and share these thoughts. Knowledge at the beginning until I finish this song. Right? I did that already, right? And I'm just loving Rakim, right? Because that, I worked out to Killer Priest today, and what was the other guy's name? I forgot his name. I got to stop forgetting people's names. And because there's so much information out there, and so many people that contribute to this beautiful culture that we, only broke bread with a few. But I do plan on breaking bread with many more. You know what I mean? Over time. It's all God's will, though, right? So, I'm gonna end it on that note. That one God, our Father, all the time, hip hop life, one love, one love, one love. Be happy just to have just one love. Yes, God is love, hip hop is life. Time keeps on ticking, yo. Money. Now you're talking about that fourth dimensional illusion that really doesn't exist. You see, you lose your money, you lose nothing. You lose your health, you lose something. You lose that character, you lose everything, yo. So we here to reconstruct and get knowledge of self and rebuild and strengthen our character, especially when it comes to our class. You know what I mean? That's what makes me a better scholar. Being a better scholar, maybe you'll consider me being a teacher. But I am a student of God. So holla back if you like me, right? Hit that like button, subscribe and share. Hit that like button, subscribe and share. Let me see if I can hit this button right here. And then I hit this button right here and I'll be out, right? That harmony and happiness is what I wish for you all. Hope y'all enjoyed today's little program. I know I was all over the place, but I've been repeating the same thing over and over again. So maybe now y'all starting to understand. Until next time, one, God is understood.